Welcome back to the Overthinking Podcast, the show where we break down all the chaos in your brain and help you lift heavy, set boundaries, and figure your life out, one honest conversation at a time. And today is a very special episode. We are debriefing our own goals and desires from 2025.
Something we love because the new year isn't about reinventing yourself. It's all about staying aligned to what you truly want. Yep, this episode is our honest audit of 2025. What we thought this year would be, what it actually became, what we learned, and what we're releasing, and who we accidentally became along the way.
And before we get into the messy middle, we want to touch on what we thought this year was going to be. It's funny how we think that a year is going to be some certain way, and we think that certain goals matter so much. And then something happens, a life shift, or maybe like we just realize those goals don't really matter as much as we thought they did.
Totally. And maybe your resolution setting goes a little something like Pinterest board crafting or imagining the fantasy version of yourself, even if a little delulu. I can relate to that. I'm sure we all have those, the pressure goals, the aesthetic goals, the it's January, so I guess I'll try to clean my act up goals.
Right. So let's get into like all of those. Kelsey and I want to just have a little bit of like a free form, like review of our year. We're going to talk about, things that worked for us, things that didn't, why. And then there's a lot of big shocks that happened for me. And Kelsey and I were just talking about how she's had like kind of a steady year. And sometimes that doesn't feel always as like, wow, and exciting. But I think it's good for us to contrast and show both sides. There's benefits to both.
Yeah. I don't know if I wouldn't call my year steady. That's not the right word. I'm not sure what word I would use, but I will say that this year made me realize just how fast a year is. Like, I think back to everything that I wanted, or like the things that I wrote down in December of 2024 and all the things that I was looking forward to. And I'm like, oh shit, I think I got to like two of the things that I wanted.
Do you
Like,
remember what they were?
oh yeah, I've got a whole notebook of things that, they were broad, and I want to touch on that later in the episode of like why these non-specific things end up not really like helping us. Like, it's
Yeah.
great to be like a little delulu, like we said in the intro, but like we really have to get specific when we're trying to start a new habit or be a different version of ourselves. And I think for my year, I don't really know exactly what I thought 2025 was going to be. I know that my number one desire was creating this podcast with you and growing it into something. And we have absolutely done that. We have crushed that. We have like 250 followers on Spotify. Shout out to us.
Yay.
Shout out to everyone listening. Thank you all so much. So that's your reminder. Please go follow us on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. Leave us a comment. Give us a 5-star rating if that's what you think we deserve. We would greatly appreciate it.
Yeah, I would love that. And honestly, the comments, when people leave comments, I get really excited about it. Sometimes
Yes.
it's just me commenting, but I love when other people comment too.
You have to be your own biggest hype girl, okay?
Yeah, totally. And I just found a note in my phone called Breeze Era, which is what my 2025 goals were. So now we're
Ooh.
really talking, guys. Now we're
Okay. So
buckle
give me
up.
like a broad, like I don't want you to like read everyone, but give me a
Right.
broad rundown of what you thought 2025 was going to be based on your notes.
Okay. So I put my big goals of 2025 are invent a bespoke retail item that I've been wanting to finally make. It was pocketless flag football shorts, okay? Starting receiver for my travel football team for the USA Worlds tournament in September.
Did you achieve that?
No, I didn't even play in the USA Worlds tournament, and I definitely didn't play for San Diego, and I wasn't
Listen,
even on offense, I was on
you
defense.
you were in worlds in my world, okay?
Thank you. Worlds is
Yeah.
actually in January. You should
Okay.
come. You should come.
Where?
It's in Tampa.
I mean, maybe.
It's warm, it's Florida. Third one was maintain energy balance and mental acuity throughout the day. Like, basically just, like, not have panic attacks is what I really meant. And then number 4 was fall in love with myself again, and I had a little quote, little parentheses that said I teared up writing that.
Aw.
Yeah.
Did you
And then it goes
fall more in love with yourself again?
Yeah, I would say that's, like, one of
Okay.
the biggest highlights of 2025 is I remember specifically saying to myself earlier last year, and I was like, "God, I just, like, don't like doing anything alone." Like, I didn't like going to the grocery store alone, like, if I was gonna go train, I'd be like, "Oh, maybe Kelsey wants to train," or, "Oh, maybe, like, Rachel wants to train," and it would always be like, I would never sit in the, like, "Oh, I'm gonna do this myself," and, like, enjoy it.
Right,
It was always like,
right.
"Oh, who else could come?" or "What else could" and since moving to Chicago, I've actually taken it so far that I have to be conscious if I'm, like, self-isolating too much, right?
Mm,
Like, I have to be like, "Why am I being alone? Am I being alone because I don't want to be with anybody else, or am I being with myself?" And I finally, for the first time in my life, feel like I enjoy time with myself.
yes. I feel like there's a point in everyone's life. I don't remember the word you use, like your fucking Mercury phase or whatever it was, but I feel like there's
Mercury in retrograde?
no,
Saturn's return?
I don't know what yes, Saturn's return. There's that phase in everyone's life where, like, you just really start enjoying your own company, and then you're like, "This is sacred. Like, I need to protect this at all costs."
Absolutely.
And it's a non-negotiable, and it takes so much to, like, to let someone else in to that once you get to that place, which is great, but you can also become guarded, right?
I feel guarded now. Yes. And that's shown in friendships, it's shown in relationships, in work, like
Yeah,
the people who benefited from or just, like, enjoyed when I didn't have as strong of boundaries are like, "What's going on? Is everything okay?" You know, I've had to have a lot of those conversations with people, and
right.
I'm happy to have them because it makes me feel good to honor the commitment I made to myself this year. And so of all the goals, that's the one that, like, really shines through.
Absolutely. Yeah.
How about you?
So, my big goal was definitely grow the podcast. And like I mentioned, we have over 200 followers. We have 3,000 streams and downloads. We've released 42 episodes already. So, all
Amazing.
that I'm so proud of. And I think also on that, I've had to gain new skills that I didn't have before, right? Like, it's very intimidating to start a new hobby or a new project and you have all of these obstacles in the way. And so specifically for the podcast, it's like, okay, first step, figure out what type of equipment you need. And like even going down a Reddit rabbit hole, I'm like, I am overwhelmed. And like maybe
Yeah,
past Kelsey would have been like, I'm just not going to do this project because that's too much. That's too hard. But I
yeah,
was like so committed to this one thing that I was like, I'm going to make it work. We're going to figure it out. And it also helped because you and I were in it together,
right.
but it was just like that little moment that, like one step at a time builds confidence. And like each one, it kind of snowballs and then it gets easier and it gets easier. And it was definitely a process when we were starting this podcast, right? Like
Yeah.
if anyone goes back to our first probably 10 episodes, the sound quality
Our
wasn't as
sound was crazy.
our sound was so different, like, just the quality of our conversations and the way that we flowed through our episodes, it's just a stark difference from now, and I'm so proud of myself, I'm proud of you, especially in all of your chaos. So that is my biggest 2025 win for sure. Some of my, like, broad things that I wrote down for 2025, and this is we'll get into this, but it was like deepening relationships with girlfriends. So again, like you said with yours, like I'm so glad that you and I have, grown together. We've had to have a couple hard conversations and ultimately those things are what like builds a friendship most.
Yeah.
So I'm so thankful for that. Some of the random things that were like, okay, so here's a random one. Grow a weed garden and grow mushrooms.
Totally see you doing that for
2 of
sure.
which though, like, I was like, "Yeah, I totally wanna do that." But it's one of those things, like I said, like, you have so many obstacles, like, the 0 to 1 is the hardest part of starting any
Yes.
new venture, and when I went to go like, "Okay, what do I need to start a weed garden?" I was like, "Oh my god, I'm so overwhelmed."
Like, and you're the type of person who also wants, like, the best of the best too. Like,
Yeah,
Kelsey is someone who does her research. Like, if Kelsey had to go buy a vacuum, she wouldn't just go on Amazon and, like, poke around a little bit and choose one. That's
right,
how I shop. No,
yeah,
she would go through 47 Reddit feeds, at least 13 different Instagram chats. Like, you go to the ends.
That is true, but that's also what makes like, what causes the analysis paralysis.
Exactly.
And maybe this is relatable to anyone who's listening and they wanna start a fitness routine, like, this is why we say choose one thing first. If it's nutrition, if it's exercise, choose one thing. Don't go into January saying, "I'm gonna start CrossFit and keto and do all these other things." Choose one thing, get really good at that one thing, and so my one thing was the podcast. So unfortunately, the weed garden and growing mushrooms has to wait.
Yeah.
But that
Deprioritize
doesn't
for now.
mean exactly, that doesn't mean it won't be on the bucket list at some point. I also said that I wanted to join or start a track club.
Okay, was this when you were doing like your mile a day, like run challenge?
It absolutely was.
Awesome. Yep.
Ask me how many miles I've run this year, I could probably count on, like, my hands and toes.
You think so?
Yeah, totally.
You got it. You got into biking a little bit more.
I have been biking a lot. I just got, like, an electric assisted bike back in, what, June, maybe? And it was the best investment that I made in 2025.
Really?
Yeah, it was by far the best investment I made in 2025. I mean, it's also easy in San Diego that the weather is so nice, it's beautiful, so I can ride it a lot more places, but I end up riding my bike a lot more than, like, just driving.
Fun.
Yeah.
Because you can choose how much exercise you want.
Yes.
Okay, so then what okay, so you were like, "We'll get into this," but what vibes or sorry, which goals weren't really actual goals that mattered to you, and I guess all of them except for the pod? Or did some
Yeah, I mean, I think the mushrooms and the weed and the track club, those were all kind of things that I was like, yeah, those aren't as important to me. And some of the other ones that were like non-specific that don't really like help make goals come to fruition was like deepening relationships with girlfriends. Like, what does that mean? Right? Like, when we're setting goals, it's like, okay, I can want that thing. That's a broad stroke desire. How do we make that a tangible goal, right? Like, is it having girls' night once a month? Like, that's where we can get really specific, or where I should have gotten really specific of like, okay, I'm going to make it a priority to see one girlfriend every other week.
Yeah. So why is that feel more like, why specifically does that feel more tangible than deepening relationships?
Because it's a physical action. It's something that you can measure and track. Like, have I seen one girlfriend once a month? Maybe. Yeah. I've definitely seen my best friend's stuff at least once a month. I see your face once a week.
Yep. So, hey, maybe that goal was important to you.
Yep.
But I also think, the other part of this conversation is that we can go into a year with a specific goal that really does feel important. Like, maybe deepening relationships really felt important to you in the beginning, but actually you realize the certain relationships you felt like you wanted to invest more in. And I
Right.
think there's a lot of beauty in honoring that your New Year's goals may not be the same at the end. And that's the beauty of it, right? Is figuring out, oh, I really want to have deepening relationships with my friends. And then like you go a couple months and you're like, well, I don't really want to hang out with someone every single week. Like, maybe that's too much. Like,
Yeah.
but feeling deeper and closer with one or two people, that's okay if you didn't hit that goal because that goal evolved.
Right. Totally.
But you
So
chose it to.
let's talk about some of your year because you had a lot of shifts. And I don't remember at what month things started brewing for you, but you were at proof 3 before and you were unhappy there for a while. You just needed to do your own thing. And then True Health came along, what, like
March.
February?
Yeah, February, March.
The opportunity came along around February or March. You had it in your head, you were noodling on it. So December 2024, what did you think 2025 was going to be at that time?
You guys, Christmas morning, I was sobbing. Like last year, I was in a bad place. I was I was having panic attacks every single day at 1 o'clock. Every single day, I was having a panic attack. And it's so funny being a fitness coach because if I was my own client, I'd be like, well, why aren't you eating breakfast? No wonder you're having a temper tantrum at 1. You're probably just hungry.
Yeah.
So if I were to think back about what I thought this year was going to be, I really didn't know. If I'm going to be, and not to make things dark and icky, but like I didn't really care.
Things
I
felt
was
blue.
surviving very much so. And and it was surviving a reality and like I created my own, what am I trying to say? I created my own misery. That's
Yeah.
it. Yeah, I created my own misery. I created my own like hell and then just lived in it. And so when Alex, who was my former client for 8 years, was like, "How do you like spending your time? If you had your dream job, how would you spend?" And I burst into tears because I had no fucking idea how I like to spend my time. I didn't even for so many years I've been told what to do, how to do it, what's good, what's bad, and I was finally met with a decision that I had to make on my own when I didn't really feel like I knew myself that well, and I was the furthest I felt from myself.
Yeah. Which led into an entire snowball of having to make decisions on your own
Yeah,
because you
and
ultimately left San Diego for the first time. You left California for the first time in your life, right?
I lived in Hawaii for 1 year, but, like, it's Hawaii.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
basically California. It's like
So I
island California.
so I literally left everything I had ever known about, like, what life was like and moved to the one place I said I would never live, which is the Midwest, and I think it's interesting because I look back at, like, the spring season and really just, like, I was, again, surviving, like, I hadn't found the tools to downregulate, I hadn't found the tools to battle a lot of things, so I ended a relationship at the end of last year and then opened back up a previous relationship, the one before that. And then that relationship was like very, very, very close and a big part of my life. And then ultimately split up for a little bit and kind
But
of
it
started
also kind of
re-engaging.
like you kind of backslid into your not people pleasing, but like your coasting tendencies where you're like, well, I'll just let other people help me and do things.
Yes, that's
Even though
exactly it.
you knew like some of your air quote toxic traits were
Yeah.
coming out, you were like, I'm just gonna let it ride.
I was like, I literally am surviving right now. And, don't get me wrong. That entire move was basically her move. Like, she moved me
Yeah.
from San Diego to Chicago. Like,
She orchestrated everything
she
that you needed
really
help
fucking
with.
helped. I was scammed not once, but twice, okay? So, when I booked my car to get shipped over to Chicago, it was a scam.
Yeah.
So, I
You'll have
had
to go back to episode whatever it
whatever
was,
to figure that out.
changing zip
But
codes.
then I came to Chicago and got into 2 car accidents.
Yep.
The second one totaled that car that I spent $3K to finally move over. And then in my new apartment here, I was also scammed. The photos that I was shown were not at all where I live now.
Yeah.
Um, Another thing is that I really thought I was going to start pocketless flag football shorts. I really thought I was going to make that. Maybe that's still going to happen, but I was like, that was really important to me. Felt like football was the most important thing. I just wanted to get better at that, which I did. That goal
Mhm.
actually did come to fruition. But the main thing was, like, my career, and for so many years, I placed my value and self-worth on how good of a coach I was, and so the idea of starting something on my own and leaving wasn't even really an option because I was in a non-compete contract.
Mm.
So starting this with you gave me so much more ownership over that, and then ultimately I did start my own company. So what's it called? Non-compete contract ended. I said, "Who wants to come back?" And a lot of people did. So that just speaks to like the past version of me who was like really hardworking and diligent and overgave, right? To really foster these relationships. And then
Totally.
now, yeah, I
Now
don't
you're
know.
doing big girl stuff.
And now I'm doing big girl things and like I've realized that for so many years I thought I hated solving problems. I hated, like you said, couldn't do the hard thing. But I literally solve thousands of problems a day and I love it.
It's
So,
funny how that works, right? Like as a coach, you're like, I'm the better like a better coach than I am an athlete. I say that all the time, right? Like I'm a great personal trainer. I'm a great coach. But sometimes I'm too easy on myself in the gym. And maybe for you, it's like you're too easy or too lax on the way that you give and you don't give to yourself in return,
yeah,
right? Like you kind of
which
like let
means
people.
very lax in lifestyle routines too sometimes.
Exactly. Exactly. So in the middle of the chaos, some pretty cool things happened, right? Like you moved to Chicago, you're now making a lot of big girl decisions. We started this podcast that we hope to grow. I think one of the things that so I guess I should touch a little bit on like my year. So I said it wasn't steady, and I mentioned this
Wasn't steady.
in a previous episode. My husband has been going through a very hard time professionally, and that is really challenging for me, as his wife and partner and someone that you spend all of your time with, right? Like, I had to learn how to evaluate what was mine to carry and what wasn't.
Mm,
And it led to some dissociating, which sometimes is helpful and sometimes can be taken a little too far. So, a lot of my, especially in the beginning, like I knew 2025 was going to be hard because of the pending professional shit that he had. And so, a lot of my anticipation for 2025 was just bracing. It was like, oh shit, are we going to get through this? Like, I had no doubts that him and I would be fine. It was just like, what is on the other side? I can't currently see if there is a light at the end of the tunnel. And I think that my takeaway for this year, as I'm reflecting back, is there is always more on the other side of despair. Like, it will always pass. I don't know how long, and we're not through it yet. We still have a couple things, but I think we're through the thick of it. So I just recently was scrolling on Instagram the other day and I scrolled by this like Chinese astrology bullshit, which I'm not about,
I
but
know.
I love a metaphor.
Ah,
And it was talking about how 2025 is the year of the snake, right? And I love the visualization of this year being a snake, right? Like you're shedding everything and you're shedding so that you can heal and grow, and you're reorganizing, cleaning up any energy leaks, refining routines. And I really feel like that's what a lot of this year has brought me, right? Like, yes, I may have been dissociating and trying to like figure out how I can like, hold space for my husband, but also like protect my peace because,
yeah.
there's a lot of like big feelings and hardships, right? And so I think this year is laying the foundation, and then we're lighting the match, baby, because 2025 is all like it's the year, or sorry, 2026 is the year of the horse. And I guess the horse is all about like confidence and driving forward and full steam ahead. So this is why I'm feeling good about 2026.
Okay, that's so cool. That is
So
I'm
deep.
so glad you yeah, I'm yes, it's very deep for you. And I'm so glad you brought it up. Obviously, I'm just itching in my seat.
You are. I can see your eyes light up.
Okay, the fact that you just said it's the year of the snake. When didn't you just buy a snake ring this year?
I
In
literally love
March.
snakes. Yes.
In March, you bought it.
Did I?
I bought a snake rug. Yes, because you bought it right when we started the podcast.
Okay.
I bought a snake rug that same month.
I almost got a snake tattoo.
While you were talking, I was like, "Are we gonna get snake tattoos in Costa Rica?"
We should. Yeah, we should.
I mean, I'm gonna surf the entire second half of the trip, so I feel like maybe we shouldn't, but we can do it in
Yep.
San Diego.
You shouldn't do that.
San Diego.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay, I'm gonna text Jordan.
If we have any tattoo artists listening and you want to give us tattoos, let's go.
Okay, and then also the year of the horse. No, no, I wasn't thinking ketamine. I know no one was thinking that, right? Of course not,
Wait,
right?
what a horse? Oh, because horse tranquilizer. Yeah, okay. I was like, what do horses have to do with ketamine?
Okay, but I love that the horse is about confidence. So one of the big things that I'm taking away from what you said is that the separation between what is yours and what is not. And I think that is something that every woman needs, whether you struggle with people pleasing or not. We have an inherent maternal instinct in
Yeah,
us, right?
yeah.
And so creating separation between what is truly yours and what isn't is really powerful. And I'm curious just to hear a little bit more about that. Like maybe an example or just how that feels for you.
I wish that I had like anything tangible to give on that. Like, I think for me, it was just truly finding something to pour my energy into. And I mentioned dissociating, right? Like, video games were a lot of my outlet, right? If I get home from work and Seth had a hard day, like, I tap into a video game just so I can like mentally let go. And that like brought me back some energy so that I could be like, all right, I'm ready to talk now. Like, I'm ready to like help you hold this. And then
Probably also gave
also,
him a little space to
yeah,
calm.
like, and what I've found along the way is that like he doesn't necessarily want me to like talk back. He doesn't want me to provide anything. He usually just wants me to listen, which is okay. But as someone who cares deeply, right? You still absorb a lot. Like it's still hard. And I think I lost my train of thought. But I was going to say I think most of all like having something to pour a lot of your time and attention into. And so the podcast like truly like helped me so much. So much with that. And I've
Wow.
mentioned this to you before, like I'm so like literally I'm pretty sure this podcast saved me from like my own mentee bee. Like I needed something every week that I just had on, it was regimented. Like I poured my energy into it. I spent a
Yeah,
lot of time editing, making social media, of course with your help too, but like I literally took a lot of the reins because I was like I
you
need this.
did.
I need
Yeah.
this.
Yeah, and that part, I think having the podcast, but also having, like, the other person on the other side of it, right? Just knowing, like, "Oh, man, we have this going," right? It's so easy for time to just kind of warp when we don't have another person or, like, a beacon or something to kind of, like, remind us, "Look how far you've come and look what you've
Right.
done," which I
Totally.
actually think this episode is so great for. I think what we touched on a little bit was like, if you're okay, then I'm okay. And if you're not okay, then I'm not okay. And we know that that's codependency, but codependency gets a bad rap because in relationship, there needs to be a small healthy dose of awareness of your partner's feelings, knowing how that person is taking that feeling, and then also how you respond in the ways that they need, right?
Right.
Someone
And
comes home and
also
they're
and being empathetic, but also like, you know, not maybe not directly, but saying like, I'm not carrying this for you. Like, I can't. I have my own shit. I can't carry this for you. Like, you have to manage your shit. I manage my shit. And then we can together give 100, right? But
yeah,
like, I can't bear the burden of everything on top. And I think when you do set those boundaries, you're saying to, well, in this case, I'm saying to my husband, like, I need you to deal with your emotions so you can come to me with a level head.
yeah.
And that's setting a firm boundary of like, I can't. I'm not strong enough to carry all this burden for you.
And also, it's not about strength, it's about bandwidth. And there's no, like, quantifiable metric for bandwidth. Everyone's is different, okay?
Yep.
And if I
Yep.
say my bandwidth can't handle this, it doesn't matter if you believe that to be true or not. But I think what you're touching on is also, like, interdependency. Like, there's a certain level that we need of interdependency in relationships, right? But when it's like, "Oh my god, he's not okay, so I need to not be okay too." No, that's just, like, ruining your day for no reason.
Right. Why
And
would you
one
take
thing
your oxygen mask off even though his oxygen mask is off?
right. Oh, okay, you're gonna no, we're not Romeo and Juliet here, okay? You can
Yeah.
always marry Okay, so here's the
We die
thing.
together.
The one thing that does come up, and I keep losing it in my brain, and it keeps coming back. The one thing that has really helped me with this, because I am, like, codependent, like, beacon, right? I've, like, been that.
You're the lighthouse.
You're sad?
You're like, oh,
I'm sad too.
you want someone that's codependent? It's right here,
It's
baby.
like, "Wee wee, it's me." But the one phrase that's really helped me is what can I do to help? Because if someone comes to me with a lot of anger and emotion and da, 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 it's like, how can I help you right now? How can I support
See,
you?
the funny thing is, that is what I have said a lot, and that kind of created some tension when I said that.
Okay.
So that can sometimes be too much because there is nothing you can do, and I think that's what I've realized throughout the year is, like, he doesn't want me to say, "What can I do to help?"
Yeah.
Sometimes it's like, I need to reframe the question of, like, "Is there any small task I can do for you today? Like, can I do your laundry? Like, do you need help with, putting your shoes away or whatever?" Like, finding something very specific that would take some load off that is indirectly related to the situation.
Yeah. That's interesting because when I would do that, it would be like, oh, do you want this? Do you want that? Do you want this? It's not my job to read your mind. Tell me
Yeah,
what you need.
right.
But I can see how that would be taken like too many times in an intense moment. And there's like the repetition of it. It's like
Yeah.
makes the edge, you know?
I think because you and I are very similar in a way that, like, if I want help with something and if I need help with something, I will, like, ask you specifically.
Yes.
I don't beat around the bush. I will say, like, "Hey, I really need help with the dishwasher. Please do that."
That is music to my ears.
I always need help with the dishwasher, okay? I fucking hate dishes.
So it sounds okay. So let's coin this as like you finding what works for your relationships, for friendships, for your obviously not new, but like you guys celebrated your year anniversary this year,
Yeah.
and that's pretty big. I
Yep.
mean, relationships have been big for you and your relationship with yourself too, knowing when you're disassociating and knowing if that's helpful and when it's not. That's
Right.
massive.
Right. Yep. There's another metaphor concept that I wanted to touch on because it's something that I feel like has grounded me this year and in really any past situation where I've experienced hardship. And it's something that Seth actually shared with me early on in our relationship. And it's the concept of stress wood. Have you ever heard of it? Okay. So, stress wood was basically came from research in like the 90s where researchers sealed off an ecosystem to try to like build more trees and help them grow like bigger and stronger. And it was all sealed and everything was tightly controlled. And while the trees did get bigger and bigger and taller and grow faster, they ended up falling and dying and broke faster because they didn't have any like exposure to the inclements. And so basically, what this is saying is that adversity is required for resilience. So, in order to like develop the resilience, we need stress and experiences and conflict in order to like make our future stresses easier to manage. And I
Yeah.
think that's a lot of what this year is like, okay, stress wood. Yep. That's all 2025 is like we're just rolling with the punches. We're getting beat up a lot, but the next thing that we go through is going to be, this whole thing, no big deal.
I think that speaks a lot to relationships. Like when people in relationships get afraid of having fights or afraid of having tough conversations, like even someone that I was seeing for a while, I was like, why do you always have to have these like conversations with your friends? I'm like, because I want to clear the air. I think it's good to have tough, I call them tough conversations. They're not always tough, but you have to have these like more clear and direct conversations, or I feel like I do, so that I can be close to you, right? Because I don't want to
Totally.
read between the lines. Oh my God, she sent me a text with a period at the end. Is she mad? I'm not doing that shit anymore. And
Right.
honestly, that is the biggest highlight of 2025 for me is kind of like with the self-prioritization thing, like really being like, okay, what do you actually need? Tell me
Mhm.
what you need. Like, I don't actually feel like I have the time to read between the lines anymore. And I think past me would be so proud that I'm able to say, like, I don't even want to participate in this conversation or like walk away. Or someone's like, we're all going to this party this weekend. I'm like, I don't really want to go to that. Like, that was not possible last year.
And it makes you realize like who is worth it and who's not. I mean, I hate to say that, but like sometimes you do have to let go of people, of things, of places in order to like truly find what's meant to be in your season or your life. And yeah, that's so deep.
Well, I think that when it comes to like body composition goals and performance and fitness goals, we do a little lifestyle audit, we do a nutrition audit, we do a fitness audit. We don't look at relational audits. And oftentimes, relationships have the biggest detriment to your health goals.
Right?
They can be the biggest positive or the biggest negative, right? You and I talked about how we were both positive influences on each other,
Totally.
consistency, directness,
Yes.
clarity, support. And then there's times where like there are relationships that they're not giving you clarity or support and they're actually making things more confusing.
100%.
And doing a friend audit, it sounds really rude. It sounds kind of like harsh.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to like tell them, but I think there
No,
is weight in that, right? Like you are the sum of who you're around, right? And I want to be around people who call me forward and like help me be the best person that I need to be for them, for myself, for my partner, for everyone that I'm close to and everyone that I want in my life. I don't want like scrubs in my life.
no, because why do we have friends? Because we want sounding board, we want community, we want to feel supported. But if those people are actually pulling you away from what really matters to you, it takes a lot of effort and like you said, like that like tension in order to create either a stronger friendship or realize that it's not going to work for you. Loosening the grip on some of the friendships that either I had a tight grip on or had a tight grip on me,
Mhm.
is actually one of the biggest wins because it gave me more space for time for myself. And it isn't because those relationships weren't important and they didn't serve their purpose. One of
It
those
was a
people always
long time coming that you needed to make space for yourself, though.
yeah, and one of those people said a reason or season or lifetime. And everyone comes into your life for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. So if you're listening to this and maybe you had some breakups this year, whether with friends or even family or relationships, I want you to take a moment and just consider the reason, season, or a lifetime, what season, how long you want those people to be in your life or not. And if there's any one particular relationship that you really struggle with this year, you get to decide now if that person's in your life for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. All of the self talk and self nurturing and TLC and like kind of like big sister chat I had to have with myself. That was one of the other big wins is like reminding myself that I can hype myself up in my brain. Like that's actually possible. And I think, I had to really, like, beat myself into the absolute ground to realize that I could actually hype myself up and I didn't actually need anyone else's opinion or kudos or good job, and that actually I was hiding behind this imposter syndrome because I truly didn't believe it myself. I didn't believe all the testimonials that I got from clients or whatever. I didn't believe it. And so it, led me to this, like, imposter syndrome, and it also allowed me to let everybody else tell me who I was.
Yes. And that is so true. And I think what's important here is that clearing space is half of the magic of like aligning with who you want to be. The other half is intention. So we get to curate what comes with us and what we leave behind. So it sounds like you want to leave a little imposter syndrome behind, a little self doubt, a little like people pleasing and pandering. What other things are you leaving behind in 2026?
It's a lot of it's behavior related. I am done with the gossip. I'm done with people thinking that I'm someone that they can tell shit to. I don't want to know your gossip. I simply don't care. If you have big goals, big dreams, things you're working on, things you're struggling with, would love to know. But I'm
So I
sick of
can't talk shit to you anymore?
no, you can talk shit, but I mean, like, the gossip. It's about the intent. When you have something to vent about, that's one thing. I'll always keep your secrets no matter what. I'm a lockbox. But if it's just like this gossip, like you've got nothing else better to talk about, so you're
Yeah,
just going to talk about other people,
right,
that is not welcome in my life anymore. I don't
right.
care how close you are in my life. I'm just not doing it. And I think that also speaks to integrity, and self integrity is something that I've been working a lot on.
I love that.
So yeah, those are the things I'm bringing. How about you?
I would like to leave a little bit of dissociating behind for sure and like get out of my bubble. I think it's sometimes we get complacent with our habits and routines. So it's time for me to like start doing other things after work. And especially once all this like professional shit with Seth is over, like I definitely want to start doing more, like maybe picking up a hobby or reading books after work and like doing something that feels like healthier and bigger, not just like, I don't know,
Like
letting
we
my
wanna
mind
feed our
wander.
brain instead of fill the brain.
Yes, yes. I mean, something I'm craving more of is growing this podcast into something that is more lucrative and has more like actionable takeaways. Like you and I've talked about creating courses.
Yep,
So
we've talked about programs.
little maybe teaser that that could be coming and maybe on the horizon for Brie and I to work on. So if that's something that you're interested in, drop us a little comment.
Yeah, like specific topics. Like if there's certain things, like I know hormones are always a big thing, but we're not endocrinologists. So like if we can always bring one in, but I want to know what topics you want us to go more into. And also maybe there's something that we don't even know that you want.
Yeah.
So that's what we're craving is
There
some
are
feedback
things that we may not know that you don't know, that we don't know that you don't know.
that we don't know that you don't know that I don't know. And
Exactly.
I think and I do love that you said that 2025 was the year of the snake because my year or my word for 2025 was adaptation, which makes so much sense, right? Like all these like
Wow.
shedding of layers.
I was just
Oh,
gonna say, let's close this out with the word that we want for 2026. Do you have one?
it's entrepreneurial spirit.
That's your word?
Entrepreneurial spirit. It's a term. Can it be a term?
Sure, yeah.
Okay. Kelsey, what's your word?
I think my word And I'm not reserving this as a permanent word. I'm just going to use it as a placeholder because it's the first word that came to my mind, which tells me it's close to the right word. But my word is open. I want to be open to the next step. I want to be open to deepening friendships. I want to be open to growth in whatever that way looks like in the next year. Like I said in the beginning, a year somehow goes really freaking fast. So I just want to be open to whatever that is, new travel experiences and new opportunities. So,
It sounds like there's a little bit of trust in the universe that you're putting.
yeah, open, trust. Yeah, we'll land on the right word.
That's very spiritual for you. I love it. I love that. I feel like open is adjacent to what my word is too. Mine's a little phrase. It's entrepreneurial spirit. And what that means to me is, again, being just open to like finding opportunities for strategic solutions that I can create for people.
Mhm.
And I finally feel like this year I actually learned the value of networking like they told us my senior year in college. They're like, networking is everything. I'm like finally learning that. Like
Yeah.
helping people with so many problems by just like knowing the right people and like keeping good people in your life. And I think that only happens when we clear out our own bullshit. So, yeah.
So now it's your turn. Take 10 minutes this week to debrief your own year. Not from shame, not from should haves, but from honesty. What did this year teach you? What are you done carrying? Who are you done carrying? What qualities do you want to be more in line with?
And I love talking about what you're bringing into next year and what you're leaving behind. I think that's a great way to start setting some boundaries with yourself. And Kelsey and I did a lot of that this year. So, next week, we're going to dive into who is the new you. And this episode is where we help you get clear on that identity setting. So, choosing goals that actually matter and how to make decisions that the hot girl that you are would make.
And if this episode resonated with you, please share it with a friend. And as always, give us a follow on Instagram at overt_thinking podcast, at Brianna Lamb, at Kelsey Michelle. And we're now on YouTube. So please go follow us, subscribe to our YouTube.
We are like 2 feet in YouTube.
Yes.
So many of you said you wanted to see us talk, so you get it. Kelsey worked really hard on
You
that.
get these noggins.
You get these noggins. Go look at us
And we will see you in the
in
next
the next
episode.
episode.